What's up, YouTube? Live Sports Talk here with another NCAA basketball March Madness predictions. Today we're going to focus on Louisville as a team. No particular reason why I picked them. They're just one of the couple teams that I'm worried about where I'm going to have them going in my bracket this year. So I feel like there's a lot to talk about with them. So, first off, let's look at where they're ranked right now in the top 25. And actually, they aren't ranked. I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not ranked, which they were a couple weeks ago, and that's kind of interesting, which doesn't really change anything to how I feel about them, but I mean, I guess it does change it changes their seeding, which will make it harder for them to do well in the tournament. Now, I believe the reason why, I guess I'd say the reason why they aren't ranked right now is because they've lost 4 out of their last 6 games. And their 2 wins are to DePaul, who sucks, and they beat them in overtime. And then they played Pitt, who is having an awful year, and they only won by 3. They lost to teams like Cincinnati and USF, and then they lost to Syracuse twice, which makes sense. But the reason why I'm worried about them is not only last year they got upset round 1 as a 4 seed, but this year they're very inconsistent, and I just don't know how good they're really going to be. They lost January 10th, they lost to Providence by 31 points. Providence isn't even going to make the tournament. That's terrible. They lost to Cincinnati. They lost to USF, like I said, and then they lost to ranked teams. Now, what made me think they'd be good in the tournament is they lost to Syracuse, but they lost to Syracuse by 1 point. 1 point against the number 2 team in the nation. It's only lost once, and the one time they lost is because Fab Melo wasn't playing. That's at least what I feel. At least. I feel that without him, they lost a lot of size. And they played Notre Dame at Notre Dame, which is a good team. So, it's not that big of a deal. Actually, Louisville was ranked 18th last week. So, if that's any incentive on why I feel that it's a questionable team. Now, they have their point guard, or point guard / shooting guard, in Peyton Siva. He's having a disappointing year. He's supposed to be really good, and he only has averaging 8.4 points a game and only 5.4 assists. And it seems like he's been getting into foul trouble a lot lately, which worries me. I do like their coach and Patino, but it just doesn't seem like they can go very far in this tournament. And I'm sorry I'm talking about an unranked team. I honestly didn't realize they were unranked, but I still think, in my mind, I have them as a ranked team. And I feel like they're going to be, when they're in the tournament, they're going to be a 6th seed probably. I would say 5 or 6 I would have them at. Probably more 6 than 5, but depends how they do in the tournament. They play Seton Hall tonight. Game actually just started. I'm praying to God that they beat Seton Hall, because if they lose to Seton Hall, I'm not even going to know what to do with myself on this bracket, because Seton Hall was awful. And they're probably not even going to... they might make the tournament. They're a bubble team. They're not awful, but they're a bubble team. So if you're not going to be able to beat a bubble team... I mean, Seton Hall's probably, if they do make it, it's because they beat Georgetown well ranked and UConn well ranked, and they're I don't even know. They're 8-6 in the Big East. I mean 8-10. Sorry, they've lost to Louisville, Marquette, UConn once. Beat UConn once. They lost to Notre Dame. They lost to Syracuse. I mean, that's reasonable. They beat Providence. They lost to DePaul. DePaul's awful. But so back to Louisville because we're not. This isn't about Seton Hall. They also have their small forward type guy, in Dang or Diang. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's Dang, like Luau. But he's averaging 9.5 points a game, 9.1 rebounds a game. That's solid. I would like to see him doing more in the tournament if they're going to win anything. They actually have him listed as a center, which I thought he was a power forward. My fault. He's a sophomore, so he'll be back next year. That'll be good for them. But I just don't really know what to do with them in the tournament because they're so inconsistent. And so, like, there's so much uncertainty about them because they have the makings to be a decent team, but they've just been blowing games recently. Like, at the beginning of the year, they won their first 12 games, and they beat 19th ranked Vanderbilt. Then, I mean, they lost to Georgetown, Kentucky. Yeah, you would expect that. They beat St. John's. That was a good win. And then it seemed like things went sort of downhill when they lost to Notre Dame in double overtime. They lost 3 out of their next 4 games after that. And then they went on a winning streak, and then the heartbreaking loss to Syracuse by 1 kind of seems to have shut them down. Hopefully they'll do well in the Big East tournament, like I feel like they can. And because they're 10-8 in the Big East, and they had 4 of their losses in the last 6 games of the season, so that really hurts. They were looking coming into the last 6 games of the season. They're looking at a 8-4. Yeah, 8-4, and that's respectable. That's way better than 10-8. That's just, I mean, you're just 2-4 is not what you want. So I would say if they're a 6 seed, I'm gonna give them the first win, round 1, but they'll get knocked out second round. That's my prediction for them. It's knocked out second round. They'll squeak by whatever team they play first round, but that could very well be an upset game. So, just one more thing about the tournament before I head out. When picking upsets in the tournament, I have this rule at least. Every year, either a 4 or a 5 has gotten upset. So you want to pick one of those. And if you watch the bracketology Sunday or any time during the week before, the ESPN will make their predictions for the first round. And I do this. You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's your bracket, your life. But I personally, whatever upset they pick, I know not for a fact, but I know that I'm not picking that upset because ESPN is always wrong about those things. Like last year, for instance, they had the 4 and 5 of the, I don't remember if it was the Southwest or Southeast, but it was the bottom right-hand bracket. And they had, it was Belmont versus Wisconsin. They had that upset, Belmont winning, and then they had I don't remember what team it was, beating Kansas State. They picked both those upsets. Neither of them happened. So if you listen to ESPN and pick both of those, you're not only out of those 2 games, you're out of the next game because neither of those teams are in it, so you have no chance. So I personally don't listen to ESPN. Do your own research. Do what you want, and hopefully your bracket will be good. I plan on making a pretty good bracket this year. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to say, but as long as there's nothing ridiculous like last year, I think I should be fine. but there usually is, so we'll see. But alright, that's it for me today. Comment, subscribe, inbox me, like this video, like any of my other videos, check them out. I did make my number 1 and number 2 predictions. Obviously that has changed a little bit since when I made it, but I did then and do think now Ohio State's going to be a number 2 seed. We'll see how that works. But that's it for me. So yeah, just subscribe, comment, and I'll make another video later. Not tonight, but probably later in the week. Alright, see ya.